Hello my lovelies and welcome back to Allotment of the Dead. So in front of me here is an expanse of absolutely wonderful, gorgeous looking chilies. I've bagged them all up basically because I was going to forget them. I've put a nice little label in with them all just to kind of remember what they all are. But what I'm planning on doing tonight is setting up a ferment, which will be probably over the next couple of weeks, just so that I can maybe have something to come back to after my holiday and try and make some nice chili sauces. Majority of ferments I generally leave for about a month or so, maybe even longer sometimes, because you get that depth of flavour. But these ones, I'm going to see how they go, because what I'm planning on doing today is setting up some Superhot chili ferments, which are potentially lethal. I'm not sure why I'm doing this, because I think the end result is going to be a doozy. There's going to be a mix of flavours in here. There's going to be a mix of different chilies in here. It's going to be a Superhot chili mix sauce, and we'll see how that goes. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use these kilner jars to set up the ferments. So I invested quite early on when I started growing chilies in some of these fermentation jars. These are kilner ones. You can get them from other places, and they come with a variety of different kind of lids and things. Now these ones have got almost like a breathing kind of hole in the top of them, which allows the gases to escape. Because what we wanted to do with this ferment is to try and get some lactobacillus bacteria growing in with our chilies and turning the sugars in the chilies into some kind of acidic kind of compounds. So that ferment, hopefully at the end of it, will have that depth of flavour of the chilies. It will have that certain amount of sweetness, but it'll have a certain amount of saltiness as well from the brine. So what we generally ferment in is a brine solution. So what we need to do is make up a brine solution to start with. So this particular brine solution is a 3.5% solution of, this is actually rock salt in bottled water. So don't make the mistake of using tap water, it won't work. Tap water has got fluoride in it, it's got kind of a certain amount of chlorine in there as well, which will kill your lactobacillus bacteria before they've had a chance really to start fermenting the produce that you've got in there. So what I've basically done is made up a solution here. So this is 800 mils of water, 3.5% solution is 28 grams of rock salt. So I've basically included it in one of these without a fermentation lid, just so I can shake it and get it dissolved quite nicely. So that's kind of what I've done there. Other fermentation jars you can use these basic kilner jars with the kind of the lids on that you have to kind of open and close. These will work, but the only thing you've got to do is remember to what they call burp them. So every so often open the lid, let the air out, close them up again, and then hopefully that will enable the ferment to still keep going. What you don't want to be doing is introducing any horrible bacteria into your ferment, because that will make your ferment go off. You'll be able to tell if your ferment's off. You'll get a horrible smell to it, and it'll end up not being something that you kind of probably want to eat in the end. So what we'll do then today is start cutting up some of these chilies. So just to let you know what sort of chilies we've got. So at the front here we've got a mix of bubblegum, Frankenstein bubblegum chilies. So these have actually got that redness going through the end of the calyx. They kind of bleed into the calyx. So there's a certain little bit of red in that calyx there. We've got some variety of things here. So we've got some Fadass White, which ripened to yellow. We've got some Hallows Eve. I think that's a Hallows Eve, which again is ripened into this nice peachy orange colour. We've got, this one is a red variety of the Big Mama, so it's big red mama. Plenty of these Fadass yellow ones. Majority of these chilies are going to be over 1 million Scovilles. Apart from things like this is your basic habanero golden yellow. I'm probably not going to include those in the ferment, but we'll see how that goes. We've got the bleeding jigsaw. Again, goes to this nice peach kind of colour. Again, around 1 million Scovilles. We've got a variety of the Big Mamas here. So we've got the big mustard mama and the big yellow mama. I haven't got any big black mamas yet. Hopefully they will come soon. We've got the Komodo dragon. So this one is approaching 1.6 million Scovilles. These are the ones that they grew and sold them in Tesco's for a while. We've got Wraith chili. So again, these are kind of a small variety of Superhot chilies. Again, kind of around 1 million Scovilles or so. We've got the Leviathan Gnarly Scorpion. So they've got this nice brown colour to them. Absolutely fantastic. These look hazardous, but they'll be good. Again, some more of these Fadass yellows. There's lots of these kicking around. We've got some skunk red. So this one is a offshoot of the Wartix chili. Again, these are about kind of 800,000 to 1 million Scovilles again. And then we've got this absolutely amazing looking, I don't know whether you can see that, the green Slimer. It's got this weird green kind of look about it. Weird looking thing. Green Slimer after the Ghostbusters monster. And then finally, nearly finally, we've got these huge, great big Congo peppers. So again, around 1 million Scovilles, but they look really appetizing. You know, you got that intrusive thought to take a bite out of something like this. And I know I'm going to be a world of hurt if I do. I'm not going to taste them today, but what I'll do is try and make a really decent ferment out of these. So the other ones I've got are these babies here. These are ones that I harvested the other day. They've been here a couple of days now. So these ones are grown by quite a few people across the country. It's the Dorset Naga. So again, a Chinese variety of chili grown in the south of the UK. So these are my first ones that have ripened, and I have told myself that I'm not going to taste these until Dave at Bowtie Life. Go and have a look at his channel, Bowtie Life in the Garden, I think it's called. I'll put a thing up on the screen. We're going to try and do a live where we're going to kind of taste one of these at the same time on the live. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll be able to sort that. His are really tiny at the moment, really small, just about starting off. These do grow really quickly though. I noticed when I first noticed the chilies that were growing, they gained their kind of size very, very quickly. So I've got quite a few of those. So what I'm planning on doing with this first lot of Dorset Nagas is stick them in the ferment. Right, the other chilies I've got are the Pink Tiger. Again, weird looking thing. And we've got Again, these are not going in the ferment because these will kind of taint the entire thing. These are the Dragon's Breath chilies. And again, if you want to taste the Dragon's Breath chili this year, give me an email, send me an email through, and I will get one of these bad boys sent to you for tasting. If you can do a video for me, even better. I can include that on a compilation video. Should be really good, really fantastic. Right. So what I'm going to do then is start cutting some of these up and sticking them into the fermentation jars here. I made the mistake one year of not putting gloves on. I'm not going to make that mistake again. The thing about hot chilies, especially super hot chilies, is that they have a lot of oils in them, and those oils can stay on your skin for a long time. So this isn't even the fact that potentially going to the toilet after cutting chilies up as being an issue. It's the actual pain it can actually give you to your fingers in itself. I had burning fingers for a long time, and when you put your hands in hot water as well afterwards, it's almost like it sets it off again, and you get that real heat going through your fingers. It's horrible. Right, so what I'm planning on doing then is I'm going to take the seeds out, because although you can make chili sauces with seeds, I think I prefer them without. So what we'll do is we'll slice these open. I'll do the first couple on camera, just kind of show you what I'm doing. So the smell of these is really strong. So these are your Dorset Nagas. I'm going to try and save a few seeds as I go from some of these. Again, just so I've got some more for next year. The price of seeds at the moment, even my favourite website, Red Dragon Seeds, is a kind of £4 for kind of 10 seeds or so, and it's a lot of money. I do know that saving some of the seeds probably won't give me a true, say as example, Dorset Naga next year, because as you're aware, well hopefully you're aware if you've seen a few of my videos, Solanum species are incredibly promiscuous. They will always try and interbreed with each other. Now I'm not going to cut these down too much. I'm going to get rid of some of the debris here. I'm going to slice them up into kind of reasonable kind of chunks like this, and then they'll go in the jar. God, the smell of these is amazing, but you can smell the heat off them. So again, about 1 million Scovilles. All right, we'll carry on and do a few more. You can actually almost smell the heat actually burning through your nostrils, even just as you're kind of chopping them up. Wow. So again, I think once they've been through the ferment, what we'll end up doing is liquidise. I say liquidising, and we'll stick them through a food processor, and that will then give us your basic mash for the sauce. So there is two ways of doing kind of these ferments. One, you can actually, what I'm doing here is just chopping them up into bits, sticking them in some brine, and kind of at the end of the ferment you've got the brine, but then you're left with kind of large pieces of chili, which you then have to kind of stick through the food processor. The other thing you can do is at this stage, rather than stick them into a pot like this as large pieces, you can kind of homogenise them at this point, and you make like what they call a chili mash. Crikey, the heat from these. And then that chili mash you can then add salt to. So again, you use salt at 3.5% weight to volume. Salt to weight, basically. So 3.5% solution. So if you've got I guess 1,000 grams of mash, you kind of use a 3.5% solution of that. So in terms of salt. Right, I am going to try and take most of the seeds out of these. So these are your Dorset Nagas. Crikey, the actual smell of these is amazing. Don't get me wrong, it's really, really strong. That's the strongest I've smelled these in a while. Again, it's probably because my watering this year has been a little bit erratic, which does make them hotter. Other thing you want to think about when you're actually opening these up is try and keep the seeds and things away from the cats. Capsicum is toxic to cats, so you don't want to be getting them, dropping them on the floor or anything. Right, I'm getting a few seeds kicking around. I can feel already the oils that are in these chilies. They're quite extensive oils. Right. There is quite a few seeds in these ones. I can imagine when we do the tasting video, if we just take out a slice, take a bite of this off the end, you're going to get a mouthful of seeds as well. This is going to be absolutely lethal. Dave, Bowtie Life, I'm not sure, are you having a rethink on this or not? These are crazy oppressive this year. But again, only 1 million. The Dragon's Breath was 2.6. Okay. Lots of red going into here at the moment. And that is going to kind of give you your final flavours in the chili at the end of it. It's going to be a nice intense red sauce. At least it will be if I put lots of red chilies in. Right. Crikey, these are really oily. Okay. Other mistake not to make when you're doing your clear up, if you find the odd seed here and there and pick it up, keep your gloves on until you've found all the seeds that you might have dropped. Even one seed on your fingers, you're going to feel it if you're kind of touching bits maybe that you're not ready for. Okay. These are feeling really quite slimy. Again, it's those oils coming from the chili. Okay, whilst I'm loading this up with Dorset Naga chilies, I'm having a think about which chilies to put in with this to give it that kind of flavour profile I want. And I think some of the Big Mama chilies might be good. That one I tasted of the Big Yellow Mama was really good. Again, that fruitiness was really, really nice. Crikey. I think the heat from my hands is heating up the capsicum in this. I'm kind of macing myself just by hand heat. Crazy. Wow. Okay, this is the last Dorset Naga. Okay, so we'll push it down nicely for a bit. Right, now we're looking for red ones, more red ones. Okay, we'll have a couple of skunk red in there. I'm going to transfer the seeds over into a piece of tissue. It's giving me indigestion. Wow. Okay. So that's the seeds from the Dorset Naga. Okay, that's the first one. So Dorset Naga seeds. Let's just put those in there. It's like I said, I've still got a few seeds kicking around here. I don't want any surprises. Right, so skunk red. Again, that really nice, it's really fruity, this one. So this is the, oh wow, these are quite a thick wall on these. Seeds wise, there's not anywhere close to being the same amount as it was in the Dorset Nagas. There is a few. There's probably about, I don't know, 15 to 20 seeds in here. Again, the actual inside of this particular chili is very, very oily. You can feel it, you can see it. Okay, so really shiny, oily kind of texture to this. But again, that smell coming off these is really good. The thing about skunk red, which is different from a lot of the other Superhots, is that the heat has been described as a creeping heat, in that it actually builds up over time, kind of almost like creeps into your mouth over time. Okay. So again, we'll put those in there. Right, I know I'm going to have some more skunk red. I'm not going to save these particular seeds this time. Right, we'll move on to another orange variety. So we've got the red Congo. This is the red Big Mama mustard. So we'll slice that up as well. Again, really quite fruity, really flavoursome. You can, well, I'm not going to try it today. But again, nice chili to put in there. So we'll go on to the next big mustard mama. Really nice size to these. Okay, so this is kind of, I think, I'm starting to wonder whether my mystery chili is one of the big mamas, because the wall of this is quite thick, thicker than I thought it would be. So this is the big mustard mama. Again, that intense heat coming off these. And again, lots of oil in them. I think trying some of these is going to be interesting. We'll go for another one. These mustard mamas are really quite... You can see the kind of convoluted kind of look about these. Lots of folds, lots of membranes, lots of heat. Again, approaching 1,000,000 Scovilles again. The walls of these is really thick. Not many seeds in. But this is already looking quite a nice jar. Fermented jar. Okay, we'll get one more. So the big mustard mamas, again, really nice thick walls. They smell almost kind of lemony, kind of a tinge to them. Okay. Wow, okay. So that's looking quite impressive already. Well, okay, what else have we got red that can go in there? Do I add a different colour in there just for hell of it? I mean, I could add some of these bubblegum ones. Just open a couple of them and see what they're like. These ones aren't quite as hot as the other Superhots. Oh, they smell good. They smell really good. This one's a bit ripe. Again, really full of oil. That's proper slimy. Crikey. Okay. So yeah, we'll get a bubblegum one in there. We'll get another one. Again, the walls of these are a little bit thicker than the other Superhots. A lot of Superhots are quite thin walls. Wow. So, right. So what we're wanting to do now, there's a bit more space there. When you're putting your brine in there, what you're wanting to do is fill up kind of to the top of the chilies, and then you want to be putting a weight on the top just to keep them submerged below the water level that you're adding. What else shall I add? I will add. Let's add one of these Congo ones. I just want to open one up and see what it smells like, to be honest. Oh, that smells. Crikey. That was a delay. Again. Really, really oily. There's the inside of the Congo. Again, million Scovilles. Reason why I've chose one of these bigger ones is so that when it goes on the top, let me just chop that little blemish off there. Hopefully when the weight goes on, it will keep them nicely down. You can add something like a leaf or something like that in there as well, potentially to hold that down. Let me see if there's any more larger kind of bubblegum ones that can go in. Okay, we'll just have one more, and then we'll try with the brine. Okay. Right, that will do for this particular lot. So what we'll do now is we'll top this up with some brine. Now hopefully this isn't going to overflow. Let me just have this. I don't think that was a Dorset Naga, I think that's a jalapeno. Right, what I'm going to do, just in case when I put the weight on this overflows, I just don't want to get the table too wet. Right, so the weight goes in. That should hopefully weigh everything down. And then we want the fermentation lid on the top. Okay, because it's a fermentation jar and a fermentation lid, this isn't going to need to be opened whilst it's fermenting. The little hole on the top should let the gases out, and we should come back hopefully to a really nice ferment. Now the first thing that happens in a ferment, just to let you guys know, usually happens is when that lactobacillus bacteria starts working, they actually make the solution go cloudy. So quite quickly this solution will go really quite cloudy. That's looking impressive, isn't it? nice, really nice red and orangey kind of ferment there. Right, what we're going to do with this now is we'll stick this on the shelves behind me, hopefully, and then it needs to be kept at about kind of room temperature. It doesn't need to be hot or anything like that. And then at that point it should start fermenting quite nicely. So again, you're going to want at least a couple of weeks to actually get those really nice kind of acidy kind of flavours into your ferment. You're probably going to want to leave it a bit longer. The other thing you're going to need to do is give your jar a bit of a bang, just to make sure there's any air bubbles in there have come out. Okay, which I think that's happened in there quite nicely. Right, my fingers now, I don't know whether you can see them there, you might not be able to, they're kind of a bit of a yellowy kind of look about them. They smell like really super hot chilies. So I am going to change my gloves and I'm going to get rid of all of the waste, like the old seeds and things like that. And then what I'm going to do at that point is put this up nicely somewhere safe. So, crikey, there's a seed, a rye seed kicking around. So we'll put that somewhere safe so it's not going to overflow and go horrible. You'll see bubbles coming up as well during the ferment, and you might kind of get like a white growth on the top. Again, that's completely and totally normal. Generally, you'll know when a ferment's gone wrong is when you open that lid eventually, and if it smells good, then it's going to be an okay ferment. If it doesn't smell good, then you're unfortunately into a whole new ball game, and you're probably going to have to get rid of that ferment. Right, the last thing I will show you today is this little baby. Now I'm hoping I've picked these correctly, because if I haven't, this is going to be a big mistake. Right, it looks like a super hot chili. If I use the knife, which is covered in oil. In fact, if anything, I'm probably going to have to wash my hands again. Right, so this one here looks like a really super hot chili. It's smooth though, it's not as gnarly as some of these other ones. I'm hoping I've got the right one. Fingers crossed. It smells like a super hot chili. Tastes really good. But it's absolutely delicious. Really nice, fruity, super hot flavour. But zero heat. So there are some of these Chinese varieties of chili that give you that really nice flavour that you want from a really hot chili, but with no heat. So this one here, now this was either going to be a Komodo dragon or it was going to be what I found here. So this is the variety I grew called St. Thomas's Usvi, USVI. You can find the seeds online. An absolutely gorgeous flavoured chili. But again, no heat. That literally, that chili, you can eat these all day. Really nice, flavoursome chilies. But like I say, no heat at all. You get that really nice, super hot fruitiness. So that kind of, the smells and everything that I was getting as I was chopping these other hot chilies up, you're not getting any of that. So yeah, if you want to get something growing, again with no heat, St. Thomas Usvi, absolutely fantastic chili. Right, so that is my first super hot ferment made. I I'm not going to go touching anything now before I wash my hands. But hopefully 2 weeks should be nice. By the time I come back from my holiday, that should be probably ready to make into a nice sauce. So we'll leave that and we'll find out. Right. So if you're going to have a go at fermenting chilies, feel free. Yeah, it's something that will give you a better flavoured sauce. At least it does, in my opinion. You can use the brine to actually make the sauces up as well. So you can make like a salty sauce, or you can make depending on how much vinegar you add, you can add different vinegars as well to make it different flavours. Now, at the point when you're adding the ferment, or when you're making the ferment, you can make just a pure pepper ferment. The other thing you can do is add other fruits at this stage. So you can add mango, you can add pineapple, apple even. Any number of things you can add to this ferment. You can ferment them in it, and your end result will be something that incorporates all those other flavours into it as well. I made a really nice lemon drop chili and pineapple sauce. Fantastic sauce. I've still got some kicking around. I've got other sauces here. I think like this one here was one I made last year. This was again a really nice, I think this was a space chili sauce I made, but again, really, really nice colour and flavour to this. Nice depth of flavour, but again, there's the ferment that helps. All right, so that is fermenting chilies for tonight. We'll see you on the next video, guys. So all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.